And I have dwelled into these things before, so I have done a little bit of reading. I'm not an expert, but that's my own personal belief. Yeah. I mean, there may be God, and I think there is. That's through my own scientific understanding. But what that is, how we describe it, how we mentally conceive it, is beyond our abilities. We're too small to be able to understand these things. So just like trying to understand the universe, it's too big. We break it down to parts and we get to understand a little bit. But to say that God has created us from the beginning, like a biblical or the Quranic or the Torah version, or even Zoroastrianism, which is Iranian, or Hindu sense, I mean, I think these are just ideas. They're good stories, and it gets people together because they believe in something, but to me, it's not real. Yeah. What's your take on it?
Okay. Why did God create you?
I don't know. No one knows that.
Did the God who created you tell you?
Sorry?
Because you believe in a God.
Yeah.
Whichever way
Some
you conceive,
form of God, yeah,
whichever way you conceive that being, did that God tell you why He created you?
No. God doesn't talk to me.
Okay. So God created all of this, and yet He doesn't tell you why He created
It's
you.
a possibility He has. He may not, but I'm just open-minded. It's a possibility He may have created all this, but I'm just open-minded, so I'm not.
So this
Yeah. I know you're
all around
here.
you, this
Yeah.
all around you,
Yeah.
it's possible that it wasn't created by anyone.
It's possible. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, it was always there,
Possibly.
or was it always not there?
We don't know the answers, do we?
What are your critical thoughts about it?
Critical force. You exist. You live.
No, about the
You
cosmos,
enjoy?
the reality of the
Well,
cosmos.
What is the reality? We try to make sense of who we are in this part of the cosmos. It's a massive cosmos, but in sense of knowing why we created, again, it's an idea, isn't it? We're trying to satisfy our inner need, our fears, our insecurities of the fact that we exist. We're conscious, and then one day this consciousness might become to an end, and then what then? So based on that, people come up with ideas to try to avoid that.
So let's start with whether this universe or this reality has always been there or not.
We don't know that, do we?
Okay.
Yeah.
How can we know? Do we have
Well,
the
we
tools?
can't. We can do mathematical models.
Okay.
We can do physics. Yes, we can make theories, postulate theories, but they are theories at the end of the day.
Okay.
Just, yeah.
So if I tell
I mean,
you that,
sorry, I should correct myself. Some theories are more kind of a profound in the sense that they do have some kind of they proved that they are built on good foundations. There are mathematical basis behind it, but still, yeah, it's a theory.
okay. Can you conceive of a time, in inverted quotes of course, in the past, where it's possible there was absolute nothingness and non-existence?
Possibly, yes, yeah.
Okay.
All things are possible.
Fine.
Yeah.
If such was a scenario or possibility, can anything arise from it? Can something come out of nothingness? Can something arise from non-existence?
Again, this is a debate about physics, and I don't know much about physics. I'm not the expert.
Use the tools
But-
that you have.
Sorry?
Use the tools that you have and you possess.
The tools we have is that I'm alive, I exist,
Yeah.
right? I'm conscious, I know what my world is around me, but that doesn't necessarily give me all the answers. It can't give anybody all the answers.
So you have to use the appropriate tools then. Because
Yeah.
if we know what we mean by non-existence and nothingness, is simply the absence of everything. Absence of all existence. That's what we mean.
Yeah.
Absence of energy and time and
Yeah.
space and quantum fluctuations. Absence of a thing. That's no thing. That's nothing. So if there was conceptually something like nothingness,
Yeah.
this nothingness doesn't have any qualities or any properties that it can actually bring about the existence of
Are
anything.
we talking about Big Bang Theory here?
No, of course not.
Right, okay.
We're talking
that-
about something and nothing.
Right,
So, we know what something is
yeah.
in some way, shape, or form.
This conversation can go on infinitely.
No.
Yep.
It's not.
You can. You can.
We can wrap it up in a few minutes.
You can
So,
wrap it up through the Islamic point of view.
I'm not giving an Islamic point
No,
of view.
no,
I'm giving
but-
you a point of view of critical thinking.
Let's wrap it up then.
Right. Critical
Yeah.
thinking. We know what something is. Matter, space, time.
Yeah.
Right? This is something. The nothingness is absence of all of that. If you have a state where it's absolute nothingness, which is non-existence, no physics, no theory in science can help you to say you can get something out of it.
Well, then,
Nothing will result from
that's if
nothingness.
we assume what you're saying is to be true.
No, I'm not. I'm giving
Yeah.
you a scenario.
Yeah.
Suppose we had a model of our universe
People
in
around
which there was absolutely nothing to begin with,
Yeah.
right? At one point. Remember, these inverted quotes.
Right.
You okay, brother? Suppose at one point
Yeah.
there was absolutely nothingness, which is non-existence. The question now is for us to understand and explain whether it is possible or probable that existence can come from non-existence.
Sorry, what's your name again?
Mansur.
Mansoor. Sorry, Mansoor, but we can't have this conversation because this will go on forever.
Why?
Because you can prove one thing or the other. We can create mathematical models to prove something or not.
Are you a mathematician?
I'm not, no.
Right. So use
but-
whatever you've got
Yeah,
and tell
but-
me, is it possible to get existence arising from non-existence?
Well, it depends on which viewpoint you're looking at. Yeah?
Sorry?
It depends on the viewpoint you're looking at.
What
So
viewpoint?
What is your...
Use any viewpoint.
Okay, we're supposed to be talking about religion here, not about physics.
Reality. I'm not going to confine
Yeah.
my answers to the reality from only one particular angle of biology. No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to limit myself because
Okay.
when we want to
So-
learn about something,
yeah.
do you agree, Wade,
Yeah.
that we have to have all avenues of knowledge open, epistemology in which
Absolutely.
every
Yeah,
avenues
yeah.
of acquiring knowledge.
Yeah.
Use that and tell me, is it conceivable
Right.
that we can get existence arising from non-existence?
My views aside, I want to hear about your views.
No, I'm going to
Yeah.
establish that by
I'm not here to debate. I'm
It's not
here
debating.
just to ask
It's not
you.
debating.
Well, it seems that way.
Remember,
Yeah.
remember, you said about you believe in something, and you said the universe may not have been created. So I'm
Yeah.
just trying to understand your
So,
foundation.
Let's wrap this up. I want to know your thoughts about Islam and why you are
It will
Muslim.
follow only when we know these foundational
You're
principles.
forcing me to answer a question,
It's not
which
forcing.
I cannot.
It's
It
not
is.
forcing.
You are.
You know,
Yeah.
look. If I said any sane individual,
If I say I don't know, you need to move on. Yeah?
no, it's not why you don't know. You do know.
I don't. I
You do.
don't. No,
You do.
I don't.
Okay. So,
So
now,
you know me better than I know myself.
no. Okay, let's understand something. To get something,
Yeah.
okay, to begin something, to create something, to originate something,
Yeah.
you need, that we know from our model of physics and science, you need energy.
Yeah.
You need something.
Well,
You need something to make something because we're only transforming the energy from one to the other, one form to the other. Whether energy converts into a mass converts into energy, and so on.
well, you're right.
You have to have the agency and the material, whatever that is, space, time, quanta, you need that. You cannot have non-existence and use that to make existence. It simply doesn't follow.
Okay.
I am going to make this assertion
Right.
based on our reality, the
Right.
tools that we have.
The tools that
You
have. Yep.
you do know, in my humble understanding,
Yeah.
that is the case. But
Okay.
you don't want to commit to that because that will then force you to a particular understanding of reality, which you are not comfortable with,
No,
perhaps.
that's not true. That's
Okay.
not true.
So now tell me then, is it possible to conceive existence arising from non-existence?
Why are you asking me that question? I'm not the
Because-
expert here.
But the answer is quite simple.
What is your answer?
Yeah. The question, answer to my question
What
is
is your
simple.
answer? It's not my answer. It's what's
No,
your
no,
answer
no.
I'm interested
The
in.
question I ask.
I think you're reversing the tables here, and you're trying to put me in a situation where I'm forced to give you an answer. So
It's not about
it's
forced
called
to.
catch-20
It's not about
situation.
forced to. It's
Or
being
prompted or guided.
critically honest about it.
All I want to know, Mansur, forget that all aside, physics.
Why are you uncomfortable in
I'm
answering
not,
this
because
question?
I'm not an expert in physics.
It's
so-
not an expert. I'm not an expert in physics
Well,
either.
let's park it. Let's move on.
No. Why limit to physics only? Do you understand common sense?
No. Now you're insulting me.
No.
No. Now you're insulting
I
me.
apologize. It's not insulting.
Yeah.
You have common sense. You have intuition.
I-
You have critical thinking. The apparatus is already there.
Look, I'm not Einstein or
You don't have to be.
Stephen Hawking.
You don't have to be.
One of those, you know.
Outside the universe.
Brother,
Yeah,
it's okay,
yeah.
it's okay. Look,
So
you don't have to
all
be.
I'm asking you, Mansur, with respect, is why are you Muslim and why do you believe
Okay.
in?
You want to
Islam?
shift the conversation because
Not
you are
shift
uncomfortable.
it, that's the no. I'm
Because-
not uncomfortable.
because-
Again, you're saying, using words as though.
So why don't we talk about it?
Because-
Let's talk about whether existence can come out of non-existence. Because you know what? All the atheists,
Because
with all due respect,
I'm not
wait.
atheist.
No, all the atheists, with due respect,
No,
whenever we ask
you're
this
asking
question,
a debate which you and I both clearly don't have answers to.
you do have answers to.
We don't. That's where you assume we have answers.
Why is it difficult to answer that question?
Because we don't know the knowledge. We don't have the knowledge. We're not experts.
So you need
So
to have
let me
knowledge
ask you
about.
something. Let me ask you a simple question. You've got a problem with your heart, yeah? Now I can stand here and talk to you the problems about your heart, but I'm not the expert.
Okay.
But I might be able to postulate some theories, make it fanciful, come around with these clever words, have a little understanding of how the cardiovascular system works, and say you've got a problem with your heart, this is the reason. But I'm not the expert. I can debate here all day with another guy who's similar thinking like me, and we can both debate or have a conversation.
Okay.
But we are not cardiovascular surgeons or specialists. That's not our theory.
So
We are doing the same thing here. We are not physicists.
are we talking about specialist field?
Physics is specialist skills. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
My question
Yeah.
is: it linked with a specialist field?
Well, physics.
No. Can non-existence give rise to existence? You don't need to be an expert in physics
It
or
probably
in
can.
biology.
It probably can. How
You
do
don't
know
need
it
to be an
can't?
expert.
Yeah, it probably can.
Because
it probably
we've
can't.
already conceptualized what nothingness is,
Yeah.
existence is, and what non-existence is.
Right.
You don't need to have a PhD to somehow answer that question.
Even PhDs don't. They just do a small.
But
part
I'm
of
just telling you,
research.
you don't need to have
But
PhD
you're
because the
swinging-
answer
Yeah.
is within the question itself. Non-existence doesn't have anything to give rise to existence, so it cannot.
Mansur, with due respect, we cannot answer that question.
Okay,
But let's move on.
I think we cannot move on because
can't?
no, I don't want to move on
Okay.
because if you feel that this question is difficult to
You
answer,
want me to say an answer? I know. I'll tell you.
no,
what
no,
you
I don't want to say anything
This is what you
forced.
want to hear from me.
No,
Yes.
no. I
Out of
want you to
nothingness-
critically answer that question.
Let me finish. I think your angle is for you to make me answer a question that is not my question.
The way you feel.
No, you
I'm not
want
forcing
me
you
to
to
say
answer.
that out of nothingness could something come out of it. And if I said no, then or something to that effect, then you would have asserted the fact that the religion is true or
Of course
God is
not.
true.
Of course not.
Then what
Of
is
course
it?
not.
Then
Of
what
course
is
not.
it? Yeah, let's move
We
on. Then. Let's
no,
do
we
it.
are establishing the foundational principles.
All right, let me assume.
First of all,
Let me assume. I'll go with your answer just for
we can't assume anything. We have to agree critically.
everything's assumed.
No.
Yeah. The whole world is based on assumptions.
Do I assume your existence, or do I know you exist?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about physics, and I'm talking about
I'm not talking about
theories,
physics. You see,
Right? I'm talking
wait,
about
wait,
religion. Religion
sorry.
is also assumption, right?
Wait, I am not only
Okay.
talking about physics.
Whatever you're talking about, I know you're trying
Why
to cover
limit
the
to
whole
physics?
feed. You can't cover
Why
the
limit to
whole
physics?
feed because
Why limit to physics?
Why limit to physics? I'm not limited to physics.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's not talk about physics, chemistry, or biology, or botany, whatever. The question
Yeah.
is not difficult. Well, look at my statements within the question. Can non-existence give rise to existence? What is difficult in the question? It's not about the language, but can and give rise. And conceptually, existence and non-existence, they're not difficult to comprehend, is it? Or are you saying non-existence, I am finding it difficult to comprehend? Existence, I'm finding it difficult to comprehend. Then I can clarify what they are.
From your point of view, yes?
No, from a point of view that you will be happy.
No, I don't need that point of view.
Now, how can I discuss if you're not happy with something? We have to have a common ground.
I came here to learn about Islam, but we're
I
talking
will
about
tell you
physics.
once
Yeah.
this foundational framework
Right, I'm
is
going to
established.
assume you're right. Let's
It's
move
not about
on.
assumption.
Yeah,
No,
it is.
No. It's not about
Yeah,
assumption.
okay.
Because this foundational
So
principle.
if I'm a human being, right, and I have a question about Islam, is this how you approach people?
No, because we started by laying down the foundation. You said, I remember correctly, this universe may not have been created, could have been always there, and whatever.
No,
right?
that's what you said. I agreed with it to a certain extent, but that's what you said.
You didn't say
I
exist.
didn't
You
say
said
that.
it's possible.
Yes.
It was not created.
You came up with the idea, and I said yes, there's a possibility. I did not.
You were
assert
not
that.
forced to
It's
answer.
being recorded.
You were not
Yeah.
forced to answer.
Yeah.
You agreed.
No, I said it's possible.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's possible that it was not created,
Yeah.
or it was always there, not always there, then I asked you, is it possible that there was non-existence before? You said yes. That is where now we need to foundationally answer that, because once you say that it is possible there was non-existence at one point, then unless we clarify that point,
Yeah.
none of what I say will be helpful and fruitful.
Okay, so when the Prophet Muhammad was preaching Islam...
No, we are talking about different.
No, this is what I'm trying to ask you, but you just went on to a completely different subject.
If I tell you now, Islam is true because the Quran says so, would you accept it?
Why would you say Quran is true though?
Because the Quran says so, would you accept it?
But it's a book.
So now,
Yeah.
remember, now you're going to critically ask, what is it that the Quran has that makes it from God? You don't even know what God is. So how am I going to even prove to you?
I don't think anyone knows what God is.
That's why we need to know what God is then,
But
first
how
of
do you know
all.
the Quran is a true
No,
word?
no.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
It is not really going to be helpful demonstrating to you the Quran is from a God
Yeah.
when you don't even know that God exists or not.
That's beyond the point.
That's not the point.
It is.
That's absolutely relevant to the point.
You are thinking Quran is the ultimate word, but where's the evidence other than the
Look.
existence? Yeah.
If we were to tell you with proof and evidence, the Quran is from God, you will say, but God doesn't exist. It could be a figment of your
I'm asking
imagination.
a very simple question.
Okay.
Where's the evidence?
Do you understand my point?
Yeah.
Firstly, we need to establish whether God exists or not.
We don't know, do we? We quite really don't
No, we need to
know.
establish
Yeah,
that
yeah.
by critical thinking.
Say, assume it does exist, but then would it
Wait,
then, yeah.
why you keep assuming things for sake of argument?
Because
you're
that's-
not really
that's
engaging.
life. That's
You're not really engaging with a critical discussion.
yeah.
You're simply engaging with the flow. Later on, you'll say, "Oh, but that was only an assumption. I don't believe in it." It will be a waste of time. We need to go by baby steps, by foundational principles that we agree, disagree, agree, eventually, and then we come to an agreement.
Okay, I admire you for your holding your faith as you are.
It's a
That's
rational
good.
faith.
Well, there's different views, but
No, I'm establishing that from the very beginning. I'm asking you critical questions. I'm challenging you on your particular premises of your
Sorry, you
reality.
go. No. Yeah, you sure? Yeah, because I did say that.
Back loud.
What's the question?
Can existence arise from non-existence?
No one.
It's a
All on back.
yeah. Remember data protection, right?
Yes.
No, I mean
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is why I am not really willing to go and say, oh, the Quran is the word of God because of these scientific miracles,
Right.
people say, or because of this literary miracle, or because of these prophecies, or because of this information that is unknown. All of this will be irrelevant because you will say, but there is no God perhaps. So how can that be from God?
well, that's where the religion is supposed to assert itself.
So that's why we need to establish whether God exists or not, and what is God to begin with.
And what is religion to begin with? Yeah. Do we need religion to live a good,
So
happy
that's why I
life?
ask you.
Yeah.
Religion is
essential?
simply the dictates of God, how to conduct your life, what you hear, the reasons.
But what makes you think that's a dictation from God?
Okay? If God tells you,
Well, how do you know that? God
Okay.
doesn't talk to anyone, do they?
how do you know He doesn't?
Otherwise, well, has he spoken
We
to
have
me?
we have
Does
we
he
have
talk to you?
people who God spoke to, and they said
Which
God
people?
spoke to us,
Which pe- so
prophets
you-
and messengers.
Yeah, they died 2,000 years ago.
But they left their
1400
evidence
years.
behind.
What evidence? It's
Right.
not real evidence.
What constitutes evidence to you?
Well, it's a book story. It's a
Hang on,
story.
wait.
Yeah.
What constitutes evidence to you?
Solid, that's proved.
Like what?
Yeah. Well, it's not evidence just because the book exists. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So what constitutes evidence?
Well, if somehow magically God appears in the sky or something.
How
yeah,
do you know it was
perhaps.
God?
Yeah.
Now, how would you know it was God and
Yeah.
not a mass delusion?
Well, what is your point?
No, you ask for evidence. I want to see whether you're ready for evidence. So, what
Hang on.
constitutes evidence?
Well, just no. That's a really kind of a.
I can't give you evidence when you're not ready for it.
Well, that's not evidence, is it?
No, you are asking for evidence.
Yeah.
Before I
No.
give you evidence, I need to know whether you are
Have you read
capable
Harry
of.
Potter?
May have, yeah.
Yeah. Now, some people believe that's religion,
Mhm.
right? Or Scientology.
Okay.
People will be convinced, like yourself, that it is true word, is true, and it's actually the real purpose, the real mission.
Okay.
That's your purpose of life. Now, you would say a certain religion is lost in its way. Other religions are lost in their ways. It's slightly right, it's slightly wrong. But you would say your religion is perfect, but everything is almost the same. So from somebody else's point of view...
That's not-
No, let me finish, please. So if I was a Hindu, from my point of view, I am right, because that's what I believe in, that's what I've been conditioned to believe in, that's my behavior, that's my childhood, that's my parents, that's my community. So when you come to me as a Muslim and tell me I'm wrong as a Hindu, I would find that as an offensive thing. Same as your point of view. You're a Muslim, you're born into a Muslim family, you're raised as a Muslim, I'm assuming, and that your background is pretty much Islamic, your community is Islamic, so you are convinced that your religion is the mighty one. So we can sit here or stand here all day debating it, but nothing's going to be solved, and no one's going to end up having...
You missed one crucial point though.
What's the crucial point?
In the crucial point of critical discussion, the evidence. That's why I'm asking you, what constitutes
What's
evidence?
the evidence of Prophet Muhammad being a Prophet Muhammad?
Very good question. Very good
Now,
question.
I'm only going to do...
No.
No, let me finish. I'm only going to have a chat with you if these cameras are off and if your recording is off, because I don't want...
Let's stop the cameras.
And your recording equipment off. Yeah.
Turn the cameras around so he knows.